Okay, welcome everybody to today's TruckLogics webinar. My name is Charles. I'm going to be your host today, and I'm also joined by Brian, the Product Manager for TruckLogics. Thank you all for joining us today. We're going to be going through some of the major features of TruckLogics as well as some of the new things that we've added recently to the program. As you see on the right side of your screen, we have a toolbar there. If you have any questions, you can send those through. I'm going to ask that you hold your questions till the end, or at the end of the broadcast you can click the raised hand button and we can unmute you and you can ask any questions you may like to have answers to at the end of the broadcast. I'm going to start by showing you some of the outside of the program here today at TruckLogics.com. Again, you can see some of the major features that we have here. You can click on the tour button to see all of the various features from the dashboard, the order entries, create dispatches, create invoices, creating trip settlements, manage all your accounts on the go. Also, we have a fully functional address book in here so you can keep track of all of your contacts, be it people you're paying, people that drive for you, and things like that. And we also have a truck zone. That's like a digital garage for your vehicles. You have you can track all of that information in TruckLogics. And we've also got built-in IFTA reporting and end-of-year reports as well. So you can kind of scroll through here, see a little bit more about each of these features that we offer. On the pricing tab, you can see that we've got pricing for any budget. Whether you're a fleet manager, you've got a small to mid-size or large fleet, you can use those options we have there. And we also have pricing for operators. So whether you're a company driver, leased operator, or independent owner-operator, we've got a package that's built just for you. You can learn more about that on the pricing page. Again, we do offer a free trial, so if you haven't gotten started with us yet, you can always try it out risk-free. And also we've got an app, so you can take your business with you on the go. This app is compatible with iPad, iPhones, Androids, and we also have a web version, of course. You can scroll down here to learn a little bit more about the app. To give you a little more detail, I'm going to play this video real quick.
Welcome to the only web-based business management
So you can get a little bit of a feel for what it's like to have TruckLogics with you on the go through the mobile app.
To the TruckLogics app just for drivers. Through our free app, drivers can receive trip dispatch details and add trip expenses on the go. To give your drivers access to all of the features you love, set up your driver credentials within your settings. Click Set Up Driver Credentials and choose your driver from the drop-down list. Their email address and phone number will automatically filter in the boxes below. Click Save, and your driver will receive an email with their login credentials for the TruckLogics app. After logging into the TruckLogics app, you can view all the dispatch details that are assigned to you. You can track critical information as it flows in real time throughout each process of your business. Also notify your clients of your progress and location with our in-app check call feature. You can also capture proof of delivery, making your daily check-in easier. Even record all of your fuel expenses in FuelUp. You can even upload your receipts for further expense verification. Any expenses that are incurred can also be tracked in the TruckLogics app. Just select an expense category and add all the necessary information. These updates stream in real time to clients and fleet managers, improving communication company-wide. For further assistance, please visit TruckLogics.com or give us a call at 704-234-6946.
So that kind of gives you a taste of what it's like to use TruckLogics on the go through our mobile app. You can learn a little bit more by downloading it. It's a free download, no cost at all, and it integrates directly with your TruckLogics account. At the top, you can learn a little bit more about the support that we offer. We've got live chat support, phone support, and email support around the clock. So whatever you need, you can always call us, chat with us, or send us an email, and we'll be able to take care of you. You can see our live training button here. That would show our upcoming webinars. And in the More section, you can learn a little bit more about the podcasts that we produce here. You may have heard of the Trucking Nation podcast. We're a proud sponsor of that program. We've podcasts are created in-house here, and just a great source of news for the trucking industry. They're hosted by Misty Noel and you can subscribe to them on iTunes, Stitcher, and other podcasting sites. At our TruckLogics blog, you can stay up to date on all the latest trucking news, whether it's about the program or just upcoming deadlines in the trucking industry. We're always at work posting several blogs a week, just trying to keep everybody as informed as possible in the trucking industry. Again, of course, I mentioned the free trial option that you can click on there if you needed to. If you haven't signed up with us yet, you can always get a little risk-free trial there to learn a little bit more about the program. And to sign in, it's a very quick process. Just enter an email and a password. I'm actually already signed in here, so I'm going to go ahead and show you the inside of your TruckLogics account. By default, when you sign in, you'll be brought to the page called Dashboard. This is like the control center for your whole operation here in TruckLogics. You can view things like your active dispatches, your active orders, open invoices, and any upcoming maintenance tasks that you have for your vehicles. So you can view these. These are live. You can click on them and go to view more information about them. And you can customize this as well. See, right now you see your open invoices. You can also change that to view your past due invoices. So you can customize this to fit your business. Now at the very top here, of course, we've got our phone number. You can also send us suggestions. We're always happy to get information from our users, any suggestions you may have about a feature that we may be working on, or maybe a feature that you just had questions about. You can always send those there. Chat with us. We have a live chat that you can click on there, and you can just chat live with one of our representatives here from our support center in Rockell, South Carolina. So just, like I said, just enter your name, email, and a question, and we'll be right with you. Again, right here in the top, this is where you can view your settings. If you click on this little gear here on the very top right of the page, you can view your settings. This is some things that you'll need to take care of when you first set up your account, but I'm just going to go through a few of them here with you right now. The first, you see we have it broken down by business, my account, billing, reminders, orders, dispatches, invoices, accounts, and an express tax zone integration. You can see all of these topics listed here. In the business details page, you can enter some just basic business information, such as your business type, your name, if you have a DBA, your EIN, all that good stuff can be added here. It's important to note you can upload the photo as well, and this photo, whatever the photo you use, if you have a logo or something you like to use for your business, you can add that there, and this image is going to appear on the invoices that you create through TruckLogics. So that's an important thing to note as well. In the My Account section, just one moment here. That's right. The My Account section, you can change things like your password, you can update your time zone, and you can update the activities in your account from here. We have different driver accounts, so if you have people that drive for you and you want to give them a limited access to the TruckLogics account, you can add them here by clicking the Set Up Driver Account. Enter a name, email address, a phone number, and click the Create button to add them to your TruckLogics account so that they can connect from their phone, tablet, or whatever they may be using. You can see a little bit more about our mobile connectivity there. You can also update things on the left-hand side here, like your billing. If you wanted to update your subscription, add any additional credits, you can go through these options on the left-hand side to do that. As far as reminders go, we send out a daily agenda email every morning at 5 o'clock to let you know what events you have coming up in TruckLogics for the day. If you don't want to receive these emails, you can uncheck that box. We ask that you don't mark these emails as spam. You can just turn the feature off from within your account. We also have event-based alerts, so you can select how many days before an event you would like to be reminded about that. So you can customize this for your invoice due dates, your dispatch pickup times, truck, trailer, license, or insurance expirations, schedule maintenance, driver's license expirations, and tax compliance due dates. So those are some handy features in there as well. As far as your orders go in TruckLogics, you can customize this. You can see, like, by default, you can select how you want your orders to be numbered. If you want to change the prefix here from order to whatever you may prefer, you can type that in there, and you can also select the starting or seed number for the orders that you create. So if you've already been using a different program and you're switching over, you want to start with a different number besides this 10,000 or whatever that may be, you can change that manually and then click the Save button to update that. All right, we have some accessorials in the account here. You can add a new one by clicking on this button here at the top right. Just add a name and description so that you can add several different accessorial fees to your orders. Order charges. By default, we have some information here for you. You can select a flat fee, pay per mile, pay per ton, pay per hundredweight, all these sorts of different options here. So you can select which one you would like to default to, and you can also set that rate for your orders. You can always customize this on an individual basis, but this is how you can set it up for your account in general. All right, so we have the miles here. You can select how you want to calculate these miles for your dispatches, whether you want to calculate these miles manually, if you want to use Google Maps, or if you would like to use ProMiles to calculate these miles for you. You can select what your default option is here on the right. As far as fuel surcharges, you can select a flat fee, you can select a percentage, or a per mile. Just like the other one there, you can select which one you would like to use by default, and you can also set that rate. Now, as far as your dispatches, this is going to be very simple, similar to the orders. If you want to change the dispatch prefix from DIS to anything else, you can change that there. And you can also change the starting number or seed number. You can change that, click Save. And we have a similar process for invoices. Now with invoices, you can change the prefix and the seed number, and we also supply the option to enter your invoice numbers manually. So if you'd like to always enter the separate number for your invoice, you can do that by moving over to this, clicking the Yes button here to manually enter your invoice numbers. But keep in mind that once you start entering your invoice numbers manually, you cannot go back to the automated process because you've already switched over and you've got live invoices through a different numbering system in the account. So it becomes problematic to switch back. So just keep that in mind. That's an option for you. We have some other invoice settings here. You can change your payment terms and your invoice terms and conditions. So you can upload this here to automatically include certain information in the invoices that you send out. Invoice taxes. Here you can add special tax rates. If you have a sales tax rate for your business, you can add that specific tax to your invoices. If you need to add any new ones, you can add a certain tax, add the rate percentage, and also enter any sort of reference information that you may need to add. And we have invoice email settings. Now by default, we can send out an email to your client when you create the invoice, and you can customize that email right here so that you just have a standard invoice template that you send out. You don't have to think about it. You don't have to customize it or type anything when you actually send out the invoice. You can just select email the invoice, and it will automatically come up with this information here. And as you can see, we've customized it by saying it's got dear customer name. What that's going to do is it's going to input the customer's name into that email itself. It's not going to have this customer name. It's going to input the actual name of the person that you're sending it to. And we have little shortcuts for this up here at the top. You can see that customer name, invoice number. That's the invoice number that will be automatically generated. And we have business name, and that's, of course, your business name that's provided from the settings that you've already added. So really great way to customize this. And again, you can add different fonts. You can customize the size, colors, things like that to customize it however you see fit. And whenever you're finished, you can click the Save button at the bottom to update that information. And I'll move over to the Accounts section in your settings. So here in Accounts, We've got several that are provided for you by default, things like accessorial expenses, cell phone expenses, fuel expenses, insurance, lodging, and so forth. For driver reimbursements. These are, sorry, needed to point that out in particular. These are reimbursement accounts, not just any expense accounts. So if you needed to add any new ones in this particular category, you can click on whether you're going to categorize this as business or a non-business expense. And also add an account name, a description, and select the tax category for this. So we have a lot of categories you can choose from here, and you can select whether it's active. And finally in this, we have an Express Tax Zone Integration section. Now what this does is it allows you to integrate with some of our other great products like Express Truck Tax and Express IFTA. By clicking this import button here, we can import your vehicle list if you've already used Express Truck Tax to file your Form 2290 for the year. You can import your vehicles over into TruckLogics directly here by clicking this import button. You can see it pulls over the VIN, the gross vehicle weight, the unit number, and if you have any additional information such as the make or model, we'll automatically bring that over as well. Also, definitely worth a reminder, if you haven't already filed your 2290 for the year, you can definitely do that right now at expresstrucktax.com. It's one of our sister products here at Span Enterprises, and it's a very quick, easy way of filing the Form 2290 if you've not already done so. Again, that's expresstrucktax.com. I'm back here on the dashboard now. We've kind of gone through the settings and you have a little bit of a feel for what the dashboard has here in your account. One very important button I would like to point out is this Add New button here at the very top right. When you click on the Add New button, this allows you to go straight into any section of TruckLogics to quickly add more information. So as you see, I clicked on it here and it gives me several options. You can quickly add an order, quickly add a dispatch, create a contact, enter an income activity, enter one of your expenses, make changes to your equipment, add fuel expense, and also schedule maintenance. So by clicking on the Add New button here, it's a quick little way to get to nearly any feature within TruckLogics. I'm going to start with creating an order. So once I click on Create Order, it's going to ask me whether it's a full truckload or an LTL order. I'm just going to go ahead and click Full Truckload. So right now it's going to start by asking for some customer, carrier, or broker information. So what you can do here is you can simply start typing a name if you already have anything entered in here. So let's say I'm going to use this Sterling Transport customer here that I've created in the account. And if you haven't already created any accounts, you can click the Add button right here to create a new company. All you need to add is the company name. You can also customize it by having your contact's first name, last name, email, phone number, and you will also need to have an address. A great thing about it is that this will actually customize the address field. So if you start typing an address here, it can automatically populate it based on Google Maps. So you just need to first start typing it, and it'll automatically populate that map information in the drop-down. So you just start typing, select the location, and you can easily create a new customer in your account that way. Is there something you'd like to add on that, Brian?
Sure. I did want to point out, I know some of you guys may be using another business management type program. You've had some time to look at TruckLogics and you really want to make the switch over. Feel free to send us your address book, or if you have some sort of file or list of contacts, and we can import that into the program for you to save you some of the work up front, and you can really dive right in and get to using TruckLogics. So I did just want to make a point of that, since we don't advertise that on the website.
Well, that's true. That's that's a fantastic option as well. As easy it is to add these contacts, you can always just send us over your file of addresses, whether it be an address book, Excel file, or whatnot, and we can add those to your account for you. Very, very great option to point out as well. So right now I've entered customer information, and it's automatically pulled up their address from what I've entered before. You can customize the order date and time. So you just say this is for today, 7 o'clock. And see, by default we've already had the shipper information entered here on the left, and you can also add a consignee to the account. So let's say I'm just going to make this Span Enterprises here, and that information will be automatically populated if you've already added that consignee information. Like I said before, you just click the Add button here, and you can automatically add a new consignee the same way you would add a customer like we just looked at. All right, so this information is here. One thing I still need to do, I need to add a pickup date and time. So I can say this is going to be picked up on Saturday. Okay, so I'm going to click the Save button there.
And you'll notice he did skip over some of that optional information. You don't have to do that, but if you guys are going to utilize the mobile app, that stuff you can actually send over to the driver. So that's kind of what it's there for, any kind of delivery instructions, contact information. If you do want to utilize the mobile app and get that information to your drivers, that's where you'd want to put it in. But again, that is optional. So.
Excellent. Let me go ahead and save these again. And we also have some freight details here. So if you know the weight of your freight, you can enter things like that. You can have a description, the weight, quantity, all sorts of options here. And again, these aren't necessarily mandatory to create the order, but we do provide tracking for that. Okay, so we've got the hauling fees. You can select per mile. If you want to edit that, you're more than welcome to. The rates come from the default rates that we set up in the settings earlier. So you can select that. You can add any accessorial fees that you may need to add. If you're going to have a lumper payment as well on this, you can type that in as well. Right. Now over here on the right, you can see the totals based on the number of miles. You see a subtotal. If you're going to have a discount, you can click on that button. And the advance, you can also calculate that. On the far right, you can see the miles and how we're tracking that. By default, we've opted to go with Google Maps on this one, but you can also select to use Pro Miles. So if I click on the Pro Miles icon, it's going to ask me to verify the route that we're going to be traveling, and specifies that 1 credit would be deducted from my account for miles calculation. Pro Miles is done on a credit basis in TruckLogics. You can add more Pro Miles credits to your account, so you can better track the miles that you drive. So I'm going to go ahead and click the Calculate Miles button here. All right, so it's changed it a little bit. It looks like the total was a little different back when I was using Google Maps, and now I've got the Pro Miles here. It's calculated it just a little bit differently. So I'm going to go ahead and create the order here and save this. All right, and here we are on the order summary page. Here you can view, all the information about the account, the order that we've just created so far. Right now we've got the order that's taken place, but we have not yet dispatched it. So you can see we've got these 2 options here, dispatching and invoicing, that have not yet been completed. For the rest of it, you can see, the shipper, the consignee, freight details, things like that. If we had added more information, you would be able to see that as well. So I guess the next step here would be to go ahead and create the dispatch. I'm going to click on this button here.
Charles, if we could go back and take some time to look at the invoice from the order page. And you can do it there as well.
All right. So by default, you see the rates that we've calculated here. Is there?
Yeah, we have added. If you'll scroll up here, you'll notice this is one of the newer things we have added. We've included the ability to add a factoring company if you do factor your invoices, or I know it says factoring, but a lot of guys will use quick pay. So you can actually use this feature for quick pay as well. What you're going to want to do is just go add your broker as a factoring company in the address book. or if you are using a factoring company, add them there. And then you can simply select them here on the invoice, set the default rate in the address book as well, and it'll autofill here. So once Charles selects a factoring company, you'll see that pop up, and you can always change it if you like. It's got a remit to address entered in there, and so if it's not going to come off the invoice, but when you do receive payment for it, it will take that percentage off the top so that you're receiving the correct payment you actually got. So just want to point that out. That's something new we've added in per your request.
All right, very good. So I'm going to go ahead and generate the invoice here. All right, so now it says the invoice has been updated successfully. All right, so I'm going to head back over into the order summary page. We've got the invoice created. I'm going to go over to the dispatch summary again. All right, so here you can see, again, the order details. Right here we've got routing information that's already been taken care of thanks to ProMiles. Driver and equipment. We have not yet added driver or equipment to this. So I'm going to click on the driver, assign driver button there. We've already added a handful of drivers to the account, as you can see here. But if you need to add another, you can click the add button. Quickly add more driver information. So you can add their name, contact info, and also select the default payment type. And you can also select the truck that they're going to be taking on this particular route.
And trailer as well. Something else new we've added here is you have the add additional driver to the dispatch option. So I know a lot of guys, you have team drivers. This is something new we've added also per your request. So you can actually add team drivers now, and you can track that throughout the trip sheet for IFTA purposes, who drove what miles. And you can also settle with them separately if you have different pay rates for them. So that's something new. That's how you do it. You just quickly add it right there, and now you have team drivers.
All right. And again, make sure most of these pages here, it's going to be a save or a sign button at the bottom. You need to make sure you click that to finalize everything and actually dispatch the order. So now you see at the top here, this dispatch number is it's changed to assigned. Now that we've added the driver, it's no longer an unassigned dispatch. It is now an assigned dispatch. As you can see at the top here, we've kind of we're working our way through the program. We've started with a summary. We've looked at routing. We've got driver and equipment information. And we can keep moving forward, and we're going to keep looking at the check calls, trip sheets, trip expenses, and also trip settlements. So you can kind of remember this format when you're going through the program, is that we're typically working our way through each of these tabs from left to right. The same thing with the TruckLogics page overall. You see we've got the dashboard on the far left up here at the top. You can start by entering your orders, managing the dispatches, and after that you can then track your accounting, enter information in your address book, customize your truck zone, and so forth. So just kind of keep the order in your head as you're going throughout the program. So we've talked about driver and equipment. Let's take a look at the check call feature here. If you wanted to create check calls directly from here, you can select what the activity is that you're going to be tracking. So say you're starting the trip wherever you may be. Let's say we're actually in Rock Hill right now.
You'll see the zip code filled in there. That's something else new we've added. We're keeping up with your zip codes for you now.
And of course, we've got the time automatic to right now. So if I click this Save and Notify button, what this is going to do is it's going to generate an email that's going to be sent to the customer here. So you can enter the email address if it's not already saved in the system. And you can customize the default email that we're sending here for this is the start of trip check call that we're creating. You can also select to send a copy of the email to yourself, and then click Send to send it out to your client.
And again, if you want to utilize the free mobile app for the drivers, they can actually do all of this check call feature from the smartphone or tablet device, and it'll actually show here for you automatically for you to review and then forward on to your customer. They can save you some time that way.
That's right. And just now we were just looking at the starting trip, but we have several that you can use throughout the process: at shipper, pickup complete, en route, at consignee, or drop off complete. These can all be completed directly from within the app as well. And now we've got the trip sheets. So right here we've got routing details starting in Rock Hill, South Carolina. Looks like we're going to New York here. You can edit the start odometer and location here. By default, we've already got this entered, but you can update that as well. Let's see here. Make sure we update the zip code.
Very nice. I did want to point out we have added you'll see there's the See the History Here button up next to the start location. So sometimes when you get to the trip sheet page, you'll notice your starting location may not be what you thought it was, and that's because we have implemented what we call the truck log. So we are tracking every check call, drop off, and fuel up you put into the program and putting it in a nice little log that's in chronological order. And so every time you get to the trip sheet page, it's going to pull the last known location that you entered in the program. Now, if you maybe missed a date or the time was off or something and the location doesn't show correctly, you can always come here. You can quickly filter to find the correct date and select the actual location that you're coming from for whatever reason. So this is just a quick and easy way to update your trip sheet effectively and get that done.
Right. Now at the very bottom here, you see we've got these trip sheet lines that can be customized here. Now don't let this intimidate you too much because it's all the manual entries here. If you're using ProMiles, you can just click the Enter Trip Sheet using ProMiles icon. Okay, here. And see it's going to automatically enter the mileage for each state based on that route in ProMiles. And the only thing that's left to do is to verify the dates that you have here. So as you see, by default, it's going to calculate the empty miles as well as the loaded miles. And the trip sheets are vital because this is how we track IFTA. So if you wanted to use the IFTA integration in TruckLogics, you're going to need to make sure that the trip sheets are up to date because this is all the important information that we use to calculate the IFTA reports at the end of each quarter. So if you need a way to save time on your IFTA information, be sure to check out the trip sheets in TruckLogics.
Absolutely, and you'll notice also we pointed out the team drivers earlier. Down at the bottom is where you can separate the miles for each driver, and you'll see if Charles enters maybe a couple hundred miles for the K. Tolson driver, it'll automatically subtract it from the Brian driver so that you have that up to date for your purposes. And if you are paying per mile, you have the correct mileage to settle with your drivers on the driver settlements.
All right. And again, you're going to always want to remember to click Save at the bottom of these pages as you're moving through. Okay, it's going to give me a little problem because I haven't selected the dates for these, but anyway, that's something left up to you there is to enter those dates. Trip expenses. Now this is where you can enter fuel expenses or other expenses that are unique to this particular trip. This is not just general expenses for your business. This is specifically, fuel expenses or other expenses that you're incurring on the road for this particular load. So when I click on the Add Fuel Expense, it's going to, ask all this kind of basic information about the fuel up here. It's going to, by default, it's going to calculate the unit that you're filling up, fuel quantity. You can enter how many gallons you're adding, and also the amount here.
And again, I want to point out the mobile app. If you have that for your drivers, they can add expenses on the go. They can attach and actually from within the application take a quick snapshot of receipts so that it's saved with the expense and it'll show on your end for you to approve that expense. So that's another thing they can do from the app to help save you time.
All right. All right. So I've added that fuel expense there in the account, and that's going to be tracked for this particular dispatch.
As well as your IFTA.
Exactly. And here we have trip settlements. So this is how you can take care of the paying your drivers when the load is completed. So you can customize this information here based on the fees and things that they set up in your account for them. You'll see some default amounts, but you can also select if it's a pay per mile, a percentage, or manual payment amount. You can just enter the amount that they're being paid right here. So you can click Save as Draft or Save and Finalize. So if you're not quite sure, I'm just going to go ahead and save this as a draft. You can always come back here, edit a little more information, and finalize it when the trip has been completed. All right, so that's dispatches and orders. Go back to the dispatch here. I'd like to point out that over here on the left-hand side, you can see several different categories here. By default, it pulls up your unassigned dispatches. That's the ones that you're going to want to be working with to make sure you get those assigned and on the road. The next tab is assigned dispatches, active dispatches, delivered dispatches, and we also have a section for canceled dispatches as well. So if you wanted to track any of that information, view the information, or just delete it, you don't need to have that information anymore. You can remove it from your account.
Absolutely. And keep in mind, we are in a small fleet account right now. So some of you guys may be in the one of the owner-operator or leased operator accounts. You don't have orders in that case, so you just have the dispatches. All the other functions are available to you. You can still invoice if you need to, but you don't have the orders tab. That's really meant for a larger company that's kind of booking orders ahead of time. Even if you are in the small fleet account, you don't have to use the orders. You can just run off of dispatches, especially if you're someone who's always entering your information after the fact. It may be a little quicker to just do dispatches. So you can keep that in mind. There's really two options there for you.
All right, very good. And moving on to these other sections that we haven't really covered here in TruckLogics, we have accounts, address book, truck zone, IFTA, and reports. So the first thing I'm going to take a look at here is the accounts. By default, the first option is the chart of accounts. So you can see all sorts of things relating to your income and expenses. So if you need to add any new accounts, you can do that here. Add a new account, select whether it's an income or an expense. Select the name, add a description, and select whether or not you would like to assign a tax category to it. So here, you can see your accessorial fees, advances, fuel surcharges, and things like that. And keep in mind, this is all tracked so that at the end of the year, if you'd like to run some reports, you can track this information for your taxes and take care of it that way. So like I said, we've got the chart of accounts. You can see specifically income transactions, expense transactions, and you can also receive payments directly from this section as well. So you can select one of your customers here.
So you don't have any open invoices for them.
Exactly.
But this is very convenient to come and receive payment at one time, especially if you run this stuff once a week, or maybe you have certain clients that you just receive payment for on a weekly or monthly basis. You can actually come and receive multiple invoices at one time and record those payments in the program.
Yes. As well, as on the account section here, after the received payments, we also have a section on driver settlements.
Mm-hmm. And that kind of goes the same way. If you pay your drivers once a week, or you can come here, you'll see, like for instance, Jane Roberts already has 2 dispatches that are not settled. So if you do this on a weekly basis, you can come in here whatever day you do payroll and generate a settlement for them that would include both dispatches. So you can create an expense, your payroll expense for both at one time, and then generate that settlement and email it directly over to them from this section. So those are some little bells and whistles you may not be familiar with, but I know that is pretty common to do payroll with drivers on a weekly basis.
All right. So again, that's the accounting section there. Again, this information is all tracked so that you can run various reports for that at the end of the year. In the address book, you can view all of your contacts, whether they're customers, drivers, brokers, vendors, whatever they may be. You can customize this list right here. And as you can see on the on the left, you can select whether you want to view all of your contacts or just view your customers. If you just want to view drivers, brokers, vendors, carriers, or even just factoring companies that you work with, you can select those options there. So I'm just going to look at all real quick. And one important thing to point out is we've got it alphabetized here to save loading time. You can select the all option to view all of them, or if you need to look at a particular letter, you can just click on A to view all your A contacts. If you click on their information, on their name, you can customize this person's company name, EIN, all this good stuff here just by clicking on the edit icon. So this is one of your customers here. You can select a DBA, a contact name, and below here we have the address, agent details, other info, and location. So if you wanted to click on the edit icons for these, you can easily update that information within your TruckLogics account.
You will notice under the basic details, we've added different email contacts that you can put in the program. So we have, by default, your main email. There is also an account email. So if you actually put one in here for your account email, when you go to email your invoices from the program, that email address will be automatically filled in so that you don't have to look it up, and you can just click a button and send it over.
Very good point out. And of course, we have the add photo feature as well. So if you have any, you want to customize this list with pictures, you can do that as well. Now the truck zone is relatively straightforward. It's broken down into 3 sections. You have your equipment, maintenance, and driver preferences. So here in the equipment section, you can view your trucks, trailers, and if you need to add any more information to this, you can click whether you're adding a truck, a trailer. Click on the icon there. Add a unit number, select a model year. Again, not all of these fields are required, but they are there for you if you'd like to add that.